When you're on a first date, there absolutely needs to be a 2-drink maximum. No exceptions, no excuses, for a multitude of reasons. First and foremost is because you don't want to turn off your date. And I'm not talking about when you really connect with somebody and you're having a great time, and now maybe your 1-hour date has turned into a 5 or 6 hour marathon date, and now you've went from drinks to dinner and now you're having drinks again. And that's not what I'm talking about. And like, hopefully you're not like over drinking anyway. But I was on a date with a guy who I met and I liked, and I accepted to have dinner with him, and we were sharing a bottle of wine, and I was sipping my wine and trying to get to know him, and he finished his wine and then, without saying a word to me, reached over and took my glass and started drinking my wine. And I was floored. I just thought it was really rude, actually. I mean, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they want to take, even then you usually say, hey, can I have some of your wine? It was just really clear to me that he was out of wine and he needed more, and thought that I wasn't drinking mine, so helped himself. It was a huge red flag to me, and needless to say, I never saw him again. And actually, another time I went to meet a guy online, and he was drunk when he showed up. And we met kind of late, and I did get the impression that he'd met somebody else from online before he met me that he'd probably had a drink with. But I was completely sober, and it was really clear to me that he was not. So also, if you're getting ready to go out, sometimes someone likes to have a glass of wine while they're getting ready. It calms them down, it calms their nerves. Make sure that glass is less than 5 ounces, because technically 5 ounces is what's considered a glass. And trust me, if you show up and you've been drinking and the other person's sober, they know that you're not. And it's a huge turnoff. And I think it's a red flag that you potentially have problems with alcohol. If you're going out on a date and you're not so nervous getting ready, don't have any alcohol until you get there. Because first of all, you want to keep your wits about you, and you want to make a good decision about whether you want to be with this person or not. And there lies the biggest problem about alcohol. You start dropping your boundaries. Now you're having a couple of drinks with this person and you're getting comfortable, and then you very potentially may go home and have sex with that person that you wouldn't have had if you'd not been having drinks. And 2 things can happen there. Either maybe they're not interested enough in you to see you again. It was just a fun night. So now what potentially might have been a good relationship turned into a one-night stand that could leave you pining for that person. Or on the other side, you might not be interested, and now the other person's very interested in you, and a pseudo-stalking situation can be set up. That, I'm a big fan of delaying sex, and when you drink too much, then it frequently leads to first date sex. And yes, sometimes marriages are, come out of first date sex. I'm not saying that you can't ever have sex on the first date, but I'm saying be smart. And I think having too much to drink leads you to do things that you might not have done otherwise, and it's a huge red flag to your date. I think especially if your date's not drinking. If your date has now had a drink and is not ordering another one, follow their lead and don't have that other drink either. If you're having 3 and 4 drinks while your date had 1, trust me, they're not going to see you again. They're now looking at you and thinking that you have a huge problem with alcohol. And maybe you do. If you're not capable of only having a drink on a date, and that once you've had that drink, you need to keep having more, then that is a problem. And I think, if you have someone else who's willing to drink with you like that, that's a recipe for disaster. And someone who doesn't drink like that is going to see it as a huge red flag and not want to have a second date with you. So be careful about alcohol on a first date. I want you to have fun, and if it makes you relax, and I love to go out and have a drink with somebody. I'm the first one to admit that. And yes, I'd love to have a second drink with somebody. But I'm not going to allow it to make me make a bad decision and collapse my boundaries. And more importantly, I don't want to show a red flag to my date that I'm not responsible with alcohol and that I'm not in control of my self-expression. And I live in New York City, so all you New Yorkers out there, you know that getting in a car after being out is not really an issue as long as you can hail a cab or have a subway token or a Metro card nowadays, then you can get home. But when I'm in the suburbs with my car and now I'm out and I'm having a couple of drinks, I need to keep that in mind. I can't just keep drinking because it really is crucial that you do not get in a car having had too much to drink. I don't want to get on a tangent. We all see the mad and like the tragic accidents that come and really ruin many lives. The whole purpose of dating is to make a good decision about who might be a potential partner for you. And when you drink too much, you either cloud your own judgment or you throw red flags at somebody that you probably liked. If you're wanting to have more drinks with this person, I assume it's because you're enjoying their company. So all the more reason to kind of put the brakes on the alcohol and stop at 2 drinks and show that you are responsible with alcohol and that you don't have a problem with alcohol. No one will consciously choose to get into a relationship with someone that they think they have a problem with alcohol unless they also have a problem with alcohol. And that's a recipe for disaster.